Hey, good morning. I'm Patricia Murphy. It's Friday. This is Seattle Now. This week, Gen Z is trying hard to step into home ownership. Amazon users got outraged over an abridged version of It's a Wonderful Life, and it's the first Casual Friday of 2026, so it's time to set some goals, people. Author and blogger Geraldine DeRuiter and Factal editor Veyera are here to break down the week. But first, let's get you caught up. New Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson will be sworn in at City Hall this morning. She'll take the oath of office, deliver her inaugural address, and lay out her vision for the city. The ceremony begins at 10 a.m. on the first floor of Seattle City Hall. You can watch it live streamed on the Seattle channel. The new year is ushering in a series of new laws and taxes here in Washington state. Big businesses now face an additional tax on income over $250 million. It's expected to raise more than $500 million a year for the state, beginning in 2027. The state's rental car tax will double this year, up to about 12%. Striking workers are now eligible for up to 6 weeks of unemployment insurance, and the state minimum wage increased by nearly 50 cents to $17.13 an hour. And the stakes are high for the Seahawks tomorrow night. If the Hawks beat San Francisco, they'll win the division, get the first round bye, and get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. If they lose to the 49ers, Seattle will drop to the number 5 seed and have to play on the road for the wild card round. Kickoff is at 5 p.m. Saturday night in the Bay Area. Check back for more headlines on tonight's episode of Seattle Now. It's Friday again, the first one of 2026. Geraldine DeRuiter is here. She's the everywhereist, an author and blogger. Hey, Geraldine.
Hi. Security tried to keep me out this time.
We're tightening up for 2026.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Joe Veyera is here, too. He's an editor at Factal. Joe's back. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Good to see you. Okay, you two, before we dive in, it is 2026, and January 1st tends to be the day we take stock, set some goals for the new year. New Year's resolutions are the reason the gym gets very busy every January, right? So I'm curious, Joe, do you set goals for yourself?
Well, the editing on Casual Friday saved me last year. I was on the last show of 2024, and I said I was going to run a half marathon, and that thankfully got cut, and then it didn't happen. So we're just going to roll that one into 2026.
Okay, all right, still on the table. What about you, Geraldine?
Look, I just want to remind everyone that you do not need to wait until January to give up on your goals. You can do it. You can do it year round. And I also want to say that the first person who ever ran a marathon died. So it's really, I think it's easy, people. I think it's rude to run a marathon and live. It's really arrogant.
We'll keep it to the 13.1 on my part.
That's still like 13 miles more than I would expect a person to run.
Are resolutions useful? Do you feel the pressure?
I make my resolutions very attainable, and I try and make them fun. So my resolutions are things like I try and engage with my city more, but in cool ways. Like I try and go to a show at least once a month. I try and go to an art exhibit. I try and go to some sort of fair, like something cool that makes me feel like I'm interacting with Seattle and not totally becoming a hermit.
Yeah.
So for me, that's like, oh, I went to a concert. Click, I achieved my goal. So that makes it fun.
Sure. I think that's a good way to go about it. What about you, Joe?
Well, I don't think aspirational and realistic have to be mutually exclusive. We can do both of those things. So anyway, I'm very excited for my goal of being at the Mariners World Series parade come October.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's a beautiful goal.
That is.
I really hope that happens.
You sweet summer child.
Yeah, that's great. Well, before we move on here, what's your resolution for the city of Seattle in 2026? I think more 24-hour restaurants feels like a reachable goal.
Oh, I love that. Can I co-sign? Can I steal that?
Go ahead.
I think that's fantastic.
All right. Yeah.
And can those 24-hour restaurants have public bathrooms? More public bathrooms.
Good. I like that one, Joe. All right. Maybe one more question. What is one thing from last year you're dumping, or one thing you'd like to carry forward?
I'm carrying forward all of my grudges.
That's good.
I don't want to let go of them. I like to say that I don't hold my grudges. The grudges hold me. So those are coming with me strongly.
Okay. All right. to the big story of the week. An interesting piece in the Seattle Times this week about Gen Z homeowners bucking the trend of the rising age of first-time homebuyers. Just under 4% of, quote, heads of household in King County were under 30 in 2023, according to the latest U.S. Census Bureau data. Probably not surprising since the median price of a house here is hovering around $1 million. Do either of you know anyone who bought a home in their 20s?
So I know one person who bought a home in her 20s, and this was a while ago.
Yeah.
And what happened is her grandmother decided that she was going to give all of her grandchildren their inheritance while she was still alive.
Wow.
Because she wanted to see how they would use it. And my friend was very savvy and said, all right, I'm going to put on a down payment on a house.
Wow. Okay.
And that's what she did. And she was in her late 20s. She was very financially careful. And she is the only person I know.
Yeah. What about you, Joe?
I do know a few people, and, it's the same kind of like circumstances for everybody. Like either you went straight into a high-paying profession out of school, or you got help from your parents, or you encountered a bridge troll and you answered their riddles 3 and they gave you the down payment. Like those are the circumstances it takes.
Coins.
I know. And then you got to find a bank to deal with that, and it's a whole thing.
I am curious because these sound like very specialized situations
Totally.
and pretty special people. I am curious if you were ready to buy a home, even if you had the money in your 20s, would you be responsible enough to own a home in your 20s?
Well, there's own a home and own a home well.
See, right. Exactly. Exactly.
I love that distinction. No, I should not have even been allowed to choose my own haircuts in my 20s, judging by the photo evidence of what I was doing in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So I mean, but the thing is, this is what we're taught, right? We're taught that we need to buy homes by our boomer, and for me, my dad was silent generation, and this is the lesson that was imposed on us because they all bought houses for like 15 cents
Exactly.
that are now worth $40 million.
Yeah.
So, of course, it was a good idea for them.
Yeah. The 20s are weird because you have to know enough to protect your investment.
I actively chose to pursue journalism in my 20s. Should I be allowed to get a mortgage based on that decision alone?
I had a layered haircut and wore low-rise jeans and started a blog. Like, but who was going to give me a mortgage?
Yeah. Yeah. I was kind of a ding-dong in my 20s.
Yeah.
I was street smart, not house smart.
And I think that's what you're supposed to do in your 20s.
Maybe, if you're lucky.
I think you are supposed to be irresponsible and embarrassing and have terrible haircuts and like pursue your dreams in irresponsible ways. And home ownership is for, I don't know, old people and people in the 1940s. It's just, I don't know.
Well, the youngish homeowners that talked to the Times had a pretty common conclusion amongst them that sacrificing your fun years in your 20s is what you need to do and really buckle down.
Are you living?
One homeowner spent summers in his teens mowing lawns before learning to code and picking up a tech job. And in the end, bought a triplex in Lake City and is renting out 2 of the rooms. That does not sound like a comfortable lifestyle. He said to the paper in another life, he would have been a musician. But if he had done that, he wouldn't be owning a house. So sacrifices were made.
Oh,
okay,
God.
but it's a path. It is a path.
Are you going to look back on that favorably 10, 20, 30 years from now?
I don't know.
Well, and I'm just
You're 10 years, 15, 20 years into a mortgage at that point. So
I'm just also not sure we should be encouraging young people to engage in rent-seeking behaviors, right? Like, I just think there's something soulless about it. Like, we've taught them, like, look, this is the system, and you have to operate within this system because there's no way to break out of it. So the only way to win is to become a landlord, which is really, like, there's something deeply depressing about that.
Well, the story makes a great point that being in your 20s is strange and everyone's circumstances are different. So, to your point, some people live at home with their family. Some people rent with roommates. Some people still live alone. It's a time of transition, and the Lake City triplex owner told the Times he sees his friends going on trips or going to music festivals and think any trip I take is removing me from my mortgage.
This
is a life I'm not sure I would have wanted.
Take the trip.
Spend the money. Spend the inheritance. Go to St. Bart's.
I also don't feel...
Get the haircut.
I don't feel bad for him. I'm sorry.
He's making a choice.
Yeah,
he's
Right.
making
you
a
own
choice, and I feel like
triplex.
I knew people like this growing up. I knew a person I grew up with who was so serious about saving money. I am quite certain she is a triple millionaire at this point and has been for some time, simply because she was like this. And this brings some people satisfaction, right? There is a certain level of security maybe to triplex guy. He has done a thing.
To each their own. And I will respect anyone making their choices. I just can't imagine that path for myself.
I'm not that girl. I'm not that disciplined, to be honest. I don't think I'm that disciplined.
I mean, we've talked about I don't envision how I could have owned a home in my 20s. I definitely couldn't have been a landlord and taken care of other people's homes.
That's
I didn't even know to
exactly
wipe
my
down
point.
the baseboards.
Wait, you have to wipe down baseboards? Look, I am a terrible homeowner now.
Are you?
I am. People will come over and they'll be like, hey, your gate's creaky or broken. And I'm like, yeah, so if you notice it, then you have to fix it. I am just ignoring all of the things that are slowly breaking around my home until I eventually sell it. That is what I am doing. So the idea that someone else would come to me and I would be legally beholden to fix it, that is actually my nightmare.
All right, well, moving on to our next topic. We are pushing past the holiday season, but some movie fans are still sore about an Amazon version of It's a Wonderful Life. GeekWire reports this week that people are frustrated with the company for airing a butchered version of the film, shorter than the original. Worse, the version is missing a key sequence that the New York Post calls the movie's emotional core. Speaking of cutting out the emotional core, I need to remind you that Amazon may pop up as an advertiser on this podcast. Cut out of the classic was the part of the movie where George Bailey sees how his hometown of Bedford Falls transforms into corrupt, neon-lit Pottersville without his existence. We have this clip for you. This is what it sounds like, and I need to tell you, this is no editing on our end. This is the actual abridged version.
Only one way you can help me. You don't happen to have $8,000 on you. Millie! Millie! Yeah!
That's it? That is it. That is what kind of monster does that? No, I'm serious. It is.
It leaves you speechless,
I know it's
doesn't
about
it?
the copyright, but really, what kind of monster does that?
So I did the deep dive, right? Because I had to. So
Yeah.
When the movie came out, it was not popular. It was a complete dud. It went way over budget. It was overshadowed by another movie that had a similar concept that did incredibly well that we've now forgotten. And the reason It's a Wonderful Life became so popular is because it entered the public domain. And so in the 70s and 80s, it was on TV all the time. And it had this huge resurgence and became this Christmas classic. Now, the one studio, and I can't remember who, decided to get the copyright back. And the way that they did that is that they made a claim based on the books that it was based off of.
Whoa.
And so the way that Amazon gets around that is by cutting out, because it's believed that the part of Pottersville, that scene, if you remove that, then you lose the relationship to the copyrighted book.
Oh my gosh.
And
so it
so-
was a monster.
So it is just, it makes no sense to cut it out, though. And the other thing that's crazy to me is Amazon owns the copyrighted version.
So they're just playing against themselves.
I don't know what is going on.
Joe, have you seen It's a Wonderful Life enough times to notice this gap?
It would have stopped me in my tracks. But, at the same time, as a lifelong resident of Bezosville, is that edit really the worst thing in the world? Doesn't it warm your heart? It's Christmas Eve, you're sitting by the fire, you're watching It's a Redacted Life, and you see that oligarchy is good, actually, at the end of the day.
Wow. Amazon labeled it as the abridged version, but it's unclear whether or not they did it before or after the public outcry. They also have a version in color, which feels sacrilegious as well. I can't. Is nothing sacred anymore?
Well, so for one thing, the movie doesn't fundamentally make sense anymore, right? Like
I wonder if people are paying attention.
The reviews suggest that they are, because there are, if you go and look at the abridged version and you look at the 1-star reviews, there are people who are like, this, I was watching it and I thought I glitched out. They were like, I didn't understand what was going on.
I thought I glitched. Have you ever seen the edited version of a movie before seeing the original? I don't think I have.
I don't think I have.
So
I'm so old.
So actually, I think most of us have only seen the edited version of Love Actually.
Oh, that's right.
Because there is a Martin Freeman, Joanna Page storyline in there that most people have not seen because they spend most of the movie naked. So unless you have seen the movie where Watson is just showing his tush through most of it, you have only seen the edited version of Love Actually.
And so in the edited version, they show up for one scene where it's like, she's like, all I want for Christmas is you. And we're like, who are you people?
Yeah, that's right. They show them at the end.
I've been watching this for 2.5 hours.
And that's the only time they are clothed.
All right, one last thing before we go. It is so expensive to have a meal out in Seattle, especially at our world-famous fine dining establishment, Canlis. Unless you went on December 11th, the restaurant's 75th anniversary, when Canlis set its menu prices to what they would have been in 1950. That night, the Northwest Chowder cost $1.65, the winter squash $1.25, and the duck was $2.50. A meal like that normally costs about $180 at Canlis. Is there even a sit-down place in Seattle where you can get a single appetizer for $5 right now?
You can't even walk into most restaurants in Seattle and breathe without spending $10.
I know it.
What counts as an appetizer? Like, if napkins and breath mints count as appetizers, I think the answer is still no. But
I think I can get 2 vegetable samosas for like $7.50.
Yeah, I was going to say. So I was trying to think of the most inexpensive, like, delightful restaurant that I know.
Yeah.
And Green Tree Vietnamese in Greenwood. Have you been there? Please don't
They used to have one on Aurora. They shut it down.
Please don't raise your prices, Green Tree. It is like lost in time. You can still get appetizers for around, I think, $5 to $7, and entrees for, I think you can get an entree for $11, which is unheard of.
That's a bargain.
Yeah.
That's a bargain.
Yeah.
Canlis says what people didn't spend on food, they ended up spending on wine. Apparently it was for charity, but your $22 glass of wine with your $1.65 chowder.
Did people know? That's what I'm curious about. Did people know when they showed up that they were going to get this special menu?
I feel like if people knew, I would have known and I would have been there.
Yeah, no, apparently they did not know. So it was a lovely surprise. Maybe they overspent on booze, though, because they were like, hey, live it up.
Because they're already at Canlis.
Yeah, get the top shelf.
Yeah, because you've allocated like, $40,000 to eat it. I went to Canlis recently with a friend of mine for happy hour. And when we picked up the car, which we, had given to the valet, when we picked up the car, they had left a little sparkling water in the vehicle for us.
Ooh la la.
And she just stared at it and she goes, when you're rich, they just give you free stuff.
Well,
we were cracking up. We were like, yeah.
All the proceeds from the night of the 11th went to the charity Vision House, which helps support people experiencing homelessness in King County. This was a nice throwback to a much simpler time in Seattle's history, but does it underscore how frustrating the dining experience is in this town now?
It's so frustrating. And it's like you have to, if you're not looking to spend a ton of money, like you're focused on the happy hours and a happy hour hates to see me coming, or you have like restaurant week circled on the calendar for a chance to try these places that are just completely out of your price range otherwise. But I also look at it from the perspective of these like restaurant owners and just thinking of all of the pressures that are on them now. It's the commercial landlords and it's the inflation and just the cost of ingredients and it's the minimum wage and it's all of these things coming together. And then all of a sudden your burger's $35.
Yeah, it's a tough town to be a business owner in for sure.
I mean, I think that this is the nature of restaurants. I think we realized during COVID that a lot of what we expected of restaurants was untenable. Like they were barely making it by, and they were doing everything right. Successful restaurants were barely making it by. And I think that there is something fundamentally broken about the restaurant industry. And frankly, part of it is that we undervalue the work that goes into it. We undervalue the labor involved. And honestly, if I think about the work required to prepare a meal for me, what people are willing to pay and what it costs, there is a huge schism there. And we do need to accept that we have to be compensating people more, that these people need to earn a living wage, and that this town is really, really expensive.
And we all hang on to the idea of what was the price of a meal going out when we first started going out?
I know.
So it's just that number is stuck in your head. And now I'm going to go on a different rant about the price of stamps.
Oh.
Because
They
I just
should
recently,
be a quarter.
I just realized they're 78 cents. And when did that happen?
The year is ticking down to 2026. I feel like it's time to build a time machine and head back to 1950 with you two.
I will say, so my husband's grandmother, we could not take her out to breakfast because whenever we would go out, I apologize, Pauline, I love you, I miss you, God rest your soul. She would, every time we went out, she would be like, I pay $1.80 for, I get eggs, I get hash brown, I get coffee, I get toast, $1.80. And I was like, Pauline, that is not financial. That makes no sense at all. The raw ingredients for an egg cost more than that.
I am going to leave this studio today and hop on the next train to Bedford Falls, where this is the life.
We're leaving it there. Geraldine DeRuiter is the everywhereist, an author and blogger. Joe Veyera is an editor at Factal. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Geraldine.
Thank you.
Happy 2026. Appreciate you listening to Seattle Now, and thanks to our generous financial supporters. Today's episode was produced by Vaughn Jones. It was edited by Andy Hurst. Our production team also includes Caroline Chamberlain Gomez, Brooklyn Jamerson Flowers, and Paige Browning. Greg Kramer does our theme music. Seattle Now and KUOW Public Radio are members of the NPR network. I'm Patricia Murphy. See you later. Happy New Year.